Okay, looks like we are up and running on my first stream here. Try to bear with me as I think I've got all the settings sorted, but I'm not too certain. Just gotta wait for the queue to get sorted. Looks like they're rolling up now, which is good. I have done about 3 of these cubes online. Haven't opened up any power yet, so maybe we'll get to see some here. Go. Let's get those players in. Welcome to my one viewer. Doing it all for you. Okay, finally got ourselves sorted. What do we open up? Not a lot here. Technically, something that looks like power, the new version. Not time spiral, time twister. Hard to pass. Excuse me. Hard to pass on Muldrifter. And there's not a lot else in this pack. It's pretty disappointing for a powered cube. Don't mind a time spiral. I think it's going to be a Muldrifter. It's not even dual land, really. None of the alpha jewels, which I would consider as an opening pick. Alright, we'll take the Muldrifter, see what we get past. Alright, now we're talking. We've got a Mana Crypt. Best Sol Ring ever. Nice Eldrazi. Opposition's a strong card in the right deck. I think it's pretty easy, just take the Mana Crypt. Fast mana is pretty powerful in this cubes. Gonna try and keep it open. Tinker, love a good Tinker. If that Blightsteel Colossus comes back around, we can tinker it up. Mana Crypt, Island, turn 1 Tinker, Blightsteel, seems like a good line to me. And there's really nothing else to take, so yeah, let's take the Tinker. Nice little Storm card happening here. Not sure that's the way we need to go. There's not a lot in the pack. Inquisition is the other thought I'd be looking towards, just to get the discard. Villainous Wealth is always fun. Had some good rounds with that. Get the big mana, get the Villainous Wealth out there. And then you've just got the fast red deck down the bottom. I think it's going to have to be the Inquisition. These packs have not been particularly informative. What do you take here? Stoneforge not as powerful as it usually would be. This cube is a lot less about creatures with equipment, so that really only has a narrow deck to go into. Rakdos Return, a very powerful card. Eureka, could turn ourselves into a Eureka deck. Other than that, it's not that interesting. Couple of fireballs. I think we just take the Eureka, take the most powerful option, and see what we can get. Alright. Bizarre if we want to be a Reanimator deck. Genesis Wave, the big green deck. Not sure that's going to be the way to go. Compulsive Research here, just a nice little card draw spell. Sorcery speed isn't ideal, but do what you gotta do. I don't like Tarmogoyf in cube, in draft at all really, and Gurmag Angler's just a big guy. So I'm gonna take the research and see where we go. Try and stick in this blue-green sort of thing. True Name Nemesis, that starts telling me I should probably pick up some equipment. I like a Harmonize as well, but our only green card is Eureka. And the old Gravy Train's not bad either. But we're already in blue. True Name Nemesis is a very powerful card, and we're going to take it here. And followed up with a Sword of Body and Mind. That's about as perfect as you can get when it comes to True Name Nemesis. Don't mind an Impulse, a Beast Within would be nice, nice flexible removal, but Sword of Body and Mind just too powerful here. Okay, we've wheeled around, got an Avacyn's Pilgrim, so we can get some elves running out that way. Just a dual land for our blue and our green. It's fine. Polukranos is just a big dude, so there's plenty of those running around. Let's see if some of those Eldrazi wheeled in the next pack. We're going to take the dual land here. The Eldrazi did not come back. Another elf, although not technically an elf. Terastodon's fine. Awakening Zones. I'm liking the green ramp strategy is hanging around. I think I just take the Hierarch here, get the fixing, and we can make this green-blue deck. I'm quite a fan of the green-blue deck. Goes fairly well. I think it's going to be the Scoos. Hate out those Reanimator decks. Run into the end of the pack now, probably just Abrupt Decay, get a bit of a black splash, happy with that. What don't I want to play against here? Let's not play around a Fireball. We'll pick up Tarmogoyf on the wheel, and Ajani board. Alright, so this is one of my favourite archetypes in Cube in general. It's the green-blue deck. It's got some powerful things you can do in blue. what do we have? Thrun, if we want to get some more swords. We did see 3 swords come through, picked up 1. So there's not a lot of swords equipment left. Ulamog, just go big. And in the green deck you definitely can. Helps with our Eureka, and you can just cast it a lot of the time. Neither of the big units came back around with Blightsteel or Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. I don't like Remand as a counterspell. I'll pick it up if I have to, but it's not really where I want to go. And then there's the Coalition Relic, just a good utility card there. I don't know, I feel like Ulamog's fairly replaceable, and I'm not really committed to green at this point. If I take Ulamog, I'm committing a lot more to green. So I think I'll lean over to the Relic. Jace, Vryn's Prodigy. Hello Jace, one of the best looters, outstanding card, not going to pass it. Other cards of note, Dimir Signet. Signets are incredibly powerful in this cube. Counterspell, quite like Counterspell there, particularly when we're already fairly heavy blue. Probably not going to see that come back. Hopefully on the wheel we pick up a Repeal. We'll see what happens. Take the Jace and see what we get. Alright, blue is feeling a little bit open, at least the heavy blue deck. You've got Cryptic and Bribery down the end here. Not a lot else going on. Sphinx is red if we end up going into white. And there are a couple of other decent white cards hanging around. Bonfire of the Lucky Bastard. Always an interesting card. But I think it's going to be one of these blue cards down the end. I'm not sure how much I want to commit to blue in the triple blue there. So I think I'm going to grab the Bribery and see about Cryptic wheeling, because you have to be really blue to be playing Cryptic. And Bribery is just a win the game spell against a lot of decks. Right. So here we've got Oracle of Mul Daya, powerful green elf. Get you ramping up to some good things. I haven't got any big bombs happening yet. Other than that, I like Riftwing Cloudscape. Good early play. Powerful bounce spell in the 2 mana. 4 Spike's always fun. Catching people out with 4 Spike, but I think we can get that back if we want to. Other than that, bit of Storm happening with Gush. Haven't seen any of the Storm cards other than Mind's Desire, so not real interested there, but just noting that Gush is walking around the table a little bit. I'm going to take Riftwing Cloudscape here. Nice utility card. Couple of decent white cards, but I think I'm going to stick on the blue plan. Grab Jace. Get baby Jace. Maybe I'll get all the Jace by the end of the draft. Here I think I'm just going to take the Flooded Strand. It allows us to pick up some fixing. And I'm still not sure I'm definitely in green. I mean, I could just as easily switch over to white at this point. We do have white cards coming around. Temple Garden's another one to consider. Try and set myself up for that white splash. Haven't seen anything on the black splash, so that's probably not going to happen. Just take the Flooded Strand for now and leave it with that. Frosty, old Frost Titan, good card. Also could consider an Oath of Druids. We don't have that much in the way of small creatures, and Oath of Druids is can be really powerful if you can build around it. Eureka is not looking good at the moment. Just don't have anything to back it up, and that's the main draw into green. So if we have a look at our colours, it's not real interested in green here. So I think we'll stick on the blue plan, take the Frost Titan. Follow up with Venser, pretty happy with Venser. Powerful 4-drop. Not that I The blue-white plan is looking better and better. We've got Geist of St. Traft, exceptionally powerful guy. Also good giving him a sword, making him very hard to deal with. Other than that, it's really nothing in the pack. Just going to take the Geist. Wall of Omens, I think. Keep pushing towards this blue-white. Let's take that wall. And same again. I'm going to move these green cards out to the sideboard for now. We'll just see what our blue-white deck looks like. Alright. If there's any deck I don't want to lose to, it's the red deck, so let's take Shrine of Burning Rage. Keep that out. Banisher Priest is not bad. And his friend Fiend Hunter. Alright, so at the moment we see very heavy 3-drops and not a lot else. It's not a horrible place to be. I don't think we need Tinker because we don't really have any artifacts, so we'll just put that in the side at the moment. We're not in the worst spot. I could do with a couple of early plays and just some nice finishes. At the moment we've got an alright sort of stop here at Frost Titan. Bribery can do some work. But the deck is not bad. I'm pretty happy with where we're at the moment. Ideally, would like to see some strong blue, like the other 4-drop in Glen Elendra. Supreme Verdict out of this pack. Not a bad option to have a Wrath. There are quite a few. I don't think we've seen very many Wraths so far. It's hard to tell on that regard. Delver, not really in consideration here, just don't have enough spells. I've never seen Delver work in Cube or in Draft. Time Twister, the other option, we can just empty our hands and then refill with a Time Twister. Being symmetrical is hard to run, but you can usually get some value out of a Time Twister later in the game. I think just based on the power of Time Twister, we're going to take that one. Let's see what else we can do. Alright, Hallowed Fountain for the fixing. We do have some double white here, so we're going to need to run a good number of planes, and Hallowed Fountain is going to be important. I really wish there's so many good white cards here. Any of these coming back would be great. And even Man of War I'd be happy to play as well. It's not ideal in this deck. I'm not really a tempo deck, but that'd be quite good. I'm not real happy passing Council's Judgment. I don't have a lot of removal, and that's probably the best removal you're going to get. But I can't pass up on the fixing with my double blue and double white here, so I've got to take the Hallowed Fountain and hope that Council's Judgment, Sword of Feast and Famine come back. If not, one of these two certainly will on the outside. Okay, what have we got here? Brain Freeze. As I found out yesterday, you can counter the Storm deck by stealing the Brain Freeze and then siding it against them. Probably not going to take it here because we've got a Glen Elendra Archmage. Incredibly powerful card that just does a lot of good work in Cube because there's so many non-creature spells. You put it down, you keep blue open, and it's just going to protect you really well. Other cards of note, obviously Batterskull is quite nice, particularly when we've got Geist and True Name here. But I think we're just going to stick with Glen Elendra and see what comes back out of this pack. Okay. Again, I think I'm going to have to go with the fixing with the Temple of Enlightenment. Pestamite is fine as a flash flyer, but I'm not running the combo here, so there's not a lot of draw to get that one. And Kithion is a fine 1-drop, but with only 12 creatures in the deck at the moment, I'm not going to be flipping him particularly regularly. He's really more suited to the white weenie deck. So we're going to take some fixing and just stick with Temple of Enlightenment. Okay. This is a tricky one. Don't like Mental Misstep. There just aren't that many 1-mana spells that are important, so we're not going to be taking Mental Misstep with the blue card. For the white cards, we can go for little sort of weenies, try and build that up. We do have some white weenie stuff, Soulfire, a couple of these guys down here, that sort of stuff. Maybe Honor the Pure comes back. Buff some, if we've got some more white creatures, that could be good. Because it is white creatures you control, it's not great with me because I've got so many blue creatures. I don't see triple white being reasonable in this deck. It's not going to want to run that many planes. So I think it's just going to be Sword of the Pantheon. And we'll leave it at that. I don't even see maining it, so just put the sideboard there. What do we have here? Okay. Some good red cards coming around, so the red deck could be reasonably scary. Ral Zarek is nice. We could splash red for a Ral Zarek. Don't mind him. Don't have any fixing for that at the moment. Land tax is okay. If you get fallen behind, if you're against the green deck and they're ramping up, you can pull yourself back in with a land tax. I think that's probably the pick here. Help thin the library, that sort of stuff, keep all the lands out. So we'll go with the land tax. I'm not super happy about it, but we'll take it. Got a Treasure Cruise, that's nice. The only other consideration will be Seeker of the Way, and that's just so far below the power of Treasure Cruise, it's not worth considering. Shriekmaw's going quite late. The black deck should have picked up a Shriekmaw. That's just an excellent card. Doomblade on a guy is just too good to pass if you're in black. We'll take Treasure Cruise, see what we get. Alright, last fresh pack. Not real confident about what's coming back on the wheel. Things that I don't want to play against. Probably Sulfuric Vortex. Could also take Kitchen Finks as an option. We could be playing Kitchen Finks. I don't think we're going to end up playing Kitchen Finks, but we might. Or Mardu Woe Reaper if I want to keep trying to push that little white deck. We've probably got enough 3-drops. Let's take Mardu Woe Reaper in case we get all of the 1-drop white creatures back. Here I think I'm going to grab Rishadan Port. Just a bit nice little control, keep them down on whatever their importance lands are. Relic Water also pretty powerful, white 2-drop. Might be worth just taking that and pushing a bit more white. There are some really powerful artifacts and enchantments, so yeah, well, let's take the water, get that in there. Not much wield. We've bumped our creature count up quite substantially. So we could be going the Sword of Feast and Famine here, as I said before, works really well with Geist, works well with True Name Nemesis, and now that I've got all these little creatures, could be quite good there as well. We've come up on 23, so we're going to have to start making some cuts, but we'll take the sword at the moment. Right. Revelark brings back, at the moment, Chase, Relic Water, Will of Omen, Sulfire Grandmaster. This. Not True Name Nemesis does bring back Geist, Fencer, Glenelendra, Riftwing Cloudsbake, Muldrifter. I think it's probably worth bringing in the Revelark here. We'll probably grab that one. Kytheon starting to look like a real card now. So Kytheon on the wheel, I'll take him. And Honor the Pure comes back. So again, white creatures are go. I don't want to play against Goblin Guy deck, and Whisperwood Elemental can go in the sideboard. Okay. Interesting collection we have here. Gonna have to make some cuts. We did end up with almost a white weenies deck and almost a blue deck. So really caught between these two, and I've got to sort of decide which way to go. Group our creatures separately. We have 16 creatures. Of them, here are our blue creatures. Here are our white creatures. So we've got, what is that, 9 white creatures. don't think Honor the Pure is going to be good enough based on that. Alright, land tax, not a huge fan of land tax either. So we'll take that one out. 16 creatures is certainly enough to run the swords, and they're going to be so good with these two here. So we're definitely going to be running those guys. We need 2 more cuts at least. Mana Crypt is going to be helpful. Probably only 17 lands here, because we top out at 6. And a few of these have alternate costs we can pay. As far as card drawer is concerned, we've got Time Twister, Compulsive Research, and Jace. If we want to go aggressive, I'm thinking Compulsive Research is not really where we want to be. So we're going to cut the research. And then we go back up here. I think 1 creature can come out. The trick is which one. The weakest is probably Mardu Woe Reaper. Don't know how often we're going to flip Pythion over, but it's probably worth keeping him in there, even if he's just a lightning rod. So we'll put the Woe Reaper out. That puts us at 23. And that's basics. Before we add our basics, probably add in our fixes. So Temple of Enlighten, Hallowed Fountain, and Flooded Strand. Add in some lands here. So let's just go with what they reckon and see what we end up with. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 white sources. Seems pretty good. Got a few double whites, but that's fine. And 1, 2, 3, 10, 11 blue sources. Alright. So that's looking pretty solid. Half white weenie, half blue control. Let's see what it can do. We're going to submit that. And I'm going to drop the stream now until we get started. So see you guys in a few minutes.